Friday. And Luke came home. He was in Iowa State, and he took the bus up to Belmont. And then the roads were all blocked, so he walked home on Wednesday afternoon, and he helped us. And by Friday night, we had all rounded up. Well, what we do is they drift over, the snow would drift over. And we had a team of horses and a bobsled. And you could see the holes in the snow sometimes, the air holes where there was quite a few of them. Other than that, we'd take sticks. We'd walk over those snowbanks with sticks. And if we hit something soft, we knew there was an animal down there. And as long as we hit something hard, we knew that there was nothing there. And so we'd dig them out, and we'd throw them on the sled, and a lot of them were still able to follow in the tracks of the sled. And we'd take that load up to the barn, we'd unload them, and then we'd go back out for another load. And 460 acres, that is...
Where do you put them all?
Well, we had one big shed that was about 90 foot long and 16 foot wide. And then we had another big barn, and we had a hog house. And we got them all up there. We had room for them all. And, but we worked our tail off, and probably Friday night when Dad counted them all, and he said, we're still missing one lamb, but we're not going to worry about it. I know the Gospels.
That's amazing, only one.
Yeah. Wow. And we didn't find her until spring. But then we had Thanksgiving on Saturday. And the following year, when I was a freshman at Notre Dame, my English course, the professor asked he was assignment to write a story. So I wrote a story about the winter blizzard, the Thanksgiving blizzard. And he said, my God, what imagination. He just praised it something terrible. And he wanted my permission to put it in the school newspaper, which I gave. And to this day, I wish I had a copy of it. But all I did is write it as it happened.
Wow.
And it was much more detailed than what I said, what I was saying here. But we'd find groups of 5 or 6, and sometimes we'd find groups of 30 or 40. And Cap and Bannon were the horses. And Bannon, they were both big old workhorses. And they'd plow through that snow, and we'd find groups of sheep, and then we would dig them out and load them up. And one of us would kind of drive the rest of them up, and they would follow the wagon on up to the barn because they'd break enough of a trail for them to get through it. Because they were hungry, and we had a certain amount of hay in their rack to feed them. But it was.
Did you appreciate Thanksgiving dinner?
We really did. We appreciated Thanksgiving, and the snow had blown to the point that all the roads were closed for 2 or 3 weeks. It took bulldozers to open them up. And to go to town, you would follow the highland, and everything was fenced back then. But the neighbors understood that. And you just go and cut the fence where you had to.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You'd call them. You'd say, well, will you get this for us? Will you get this for us? Or they might jump on the rack and go in town with us and get the material they need. And so...
You're talking like horse and buggy? Or horse and sleigh?
It was a horse and sleigh.
What year was this?
Well, this would have been, I graduated from high school in 53, so it had been 54, so it had been the 53, the winter of 53. And...
Wait, and those lambs were still alive?
Oh, yeah.
How much was a lamb worth back then?
The lambs weren't worth nearly as much as the Clemian sheep. The Clemian sheep then, because of the Korean War, were worth $300–400 a piece, which would be $3,000 or $4,000 in today's money. And so, if that one missing would have been a Clemian ewe, we would have gone out looking for it.
So, do you find many frozen sheep?
What?
Did you find any that were just frozen?
Nope,
Really?
nope. Nope, we didn't find any because they'll group up in a bunch and they'll move with the winter storm a little bit. And they'll find a low space where the wind isn't quite as bad and they'll stop.
And the ground was probably still kind of warm if it
Yeah.
was 60 in there.
And,
And they're wearing wool sweaters.
Yeah, I was just. I was like, they never wear clothes on.
that's right, exactly.
You guys really stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning playing poker and bridge?
Yeah.
Italians.
Then you got up at 6 o'clock and did chores?
My
Yep.
gosh.
Yep.
How old were you when you did that? That would ruin me.
I was a junior in high school before they did that very much. And, but Dad used to stick some money in a sugar bowl in April. And he'd go over to the country club and play poker. And that was the Claremont Country Club right south of where Beth and Troy lived.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, everybody belonged to that club. I mean, from the county sheriff, the bankers, everybody else. And they had membership from hell, Chicago and Des Moines and Minneapolis. There were tables there where these guys would come in and they'd start playing on Thursday afternoon at 6. Hell, they'd play all the way to Sunday. And I remember seeing pots when I was in high school of $5,000 and $6,000 frequently. And Dad used to, there was all kinds of tables. There were tables that were unlimited, $100 bet tables, and there was 50, and there were 10s, 5s.
In today's money, how was that 5 to 6
You could
thousand?
easily multiply it by 10. Easily multiply it by 10. I mean, you know, you could buy.
But how many people in town could afford that? I mean, or
Well,
was that
that's
because
it.
people came from out of town?
Most of the people in Mason City, because they knew they could go out there and play poker and gamble and never worry about being arrested because all the county sheriff belonged, all the bankers belonged, and it was 5 miles off Beaton Road, and half the membership came from out of town. I mean, completely out of town. And but Dad would put his money in it, and he played the dollar limit table.
So, hold on here, I gotta ask a question here. If he's playing the dollar limit table, how did he win a farm? There's a story I hear of him winning a farm. How is he
And
playing the
Grandma made
dollar?
him give it back, right?
That's the way I know the story.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, I can remember when I was a senior, there was a farm north of Clarion, one of the best farms in the county, sold for $200 an acre. And everybody thought they were crazy. And, you know, you get in a good pot, and the farm he won was not a very good quality farm. It was 40 acres over by the lake, and it had a bunch of beat up buildings. And, but he would put this money in the pot and, go play poker second and fourth Thursday of every month. And during the summer, all summer long and into the fall, Mom would take money out of that to pay for all of our expenses. Our school clothes, electric bill, food bill, wherever she went to town, we didn't have, everything was paid for in cash. And when August came, there was always enough money in there that we could go on a vacation up north or we went out to Colorado. And, you know, Dad was not a great poker player, but he was a good poker player. And somebody asked him one time, how do you win all the time? I play with people not as good as I am. But he did. He played with the family dentist. And he'd always give him credit. And he never paid a dental bill for 6 kids. And, but he just, you know, there was about 3 different games that we played. No one knew anything about Texas Hold'em back there. We would play straight stud poker,
Oh.
7 cards stud and 5 cards stud. And those are 7 card stud and 3 card monte. And those are the 2 they played the most of. And you know, I don't know if Dad ever came home to this or not. I'm sure he had anything, didn't have a good night, he didn't have any money, but it wasn't very often. He would take a certain amount of money and he'd go over, and when that was gone, if he lost that, he'd come home and decide the cards weren't running his way, but that wasn't very often.
When Lou was in Brazil, the program that we were in was mostly married couples. And he scored, he got $75 a month living stipend in country. And so the married couples actually had $150. And he would play with all the guys. And he would completely clean out the guys' stipends. And somebody said, well, surely he's going to give it back to him, right? And Lou's response was, if I do that, they'll never learn.
When I was in college, I won the biggest pot I'd ever. I sat down and I was waiting for a quarter table to open up, and it didn't, and so I sat down at this table with a $1 limit, and we were playing 1, 2, 3, and there was 8 guys at the table, and I got the perfect hand, and next to the perfect hand, and so it cost me quite a bit to draw, and I ended up with a straight flush, and in the hand that I was, it was in spades. It was the ace, 2, 3, 4, 5 of spades, and of course at the end of the hand there was still 6 guys in there. There was only 1 guy who dropped, and I never once got the raise. In other words, but I knew that I couldn't be beaten, and at the end of it, you know, you had to declare whether you're going high or you're going low. And of course, you could declare both ways. And of course, I declared both ways and I won it. To give you an idea how much money it was, I'll never forget it was a little over $700. And to translate that, boardroom and tuition for a full year at Notre Dame was $2,000. I mean, so that was
tuition.
But I played a few more hands and they went home.
I'm not going to improve on that hand, so.
No.
My kids had to rely on my poker winnings for vacation.
You're wearing sackcloth, right?
Happy vacation, kids.
We're going to the yard.
What happened, I had the 8, 2, 3, 4, and the 7, the 6, and one of them was a spade. And, you know, there could have been a perfect hand out there and I could have lost. And then what you do, you get 5 cards and then you throw away whatever you don't want and you draw. And I drew and I got another 6. And I was really worried because the money was way out of what I should be spending. And then they had 3 cards in the middle that they turned. And the first card they turned was a 5 of diamonds, so I had the perfect straight flush. I had somebody could have had a royal flush and beaten me a higher straight flush. But the odds of getting that are very, very small. I mean, that is very small. And especially since the 3 cards out there were all 3 different suits. So they would have been like me, having 4 or straight flush in their hand. Mm-hmm. And that was really a rarity. I've never seen that happen. And, of course, and of course, the only time I ever won more money than that is when I went to Europe. I got on the boat, back up it would come. And I sat up there in the bow, and God, that was beautiful. That was such an immense power. It was this huge ship. I'd go to eat, and everybody was sick. There was a big feeling. I said, when I got, what the hell's wrong with these people? All this good food.
I've seen so many people that get car sick, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying the heck out of this. Thank you for giving me this chance. So much more enjoyment than everybody else.
We just kept on playing poker. There were nights, there was one night, I think we were everybody in the dining room playing poker. But, one of the guys, he was a very wealthy kid, and he lived in Paris, and I went into Paris. And I spent a week there, and we went to Falaise, we went all over. I said, you know, I gotta get out of here. I'm spending too damn much money because I don't want to be here for 6 months until I left and started hitchhiking down there towards Spain. But it was quite an adventure. And of course, the nice thing about it was it was a time of year that there wasn't. Well, we didn't have any tourists anyway. And it was in 1960, would have been 1960. And there wasn't any tourists. I mean, when we got to Rome, I hitchhiking, and you could walk into the Colosseum, or you could walk into the chapel of the Rome and everything else, and there wasn't just anybody traveling.
What time of year was it?
It was in January. And there wasn't anybody traveling, number one, and number two, we really didn't have much of a tourist business yet because it was so damn expensive to get to Europe. If you flew, it was $700, and you know that'd be like $7,000 money. And you know, if it cost you $7,000 just to fly over to Europe and back, there wouldn't be a lot of people doing it.
So you went to the Coliseum?
Oh, I walked through the Colosseum. I was hitchhiking, and this guy Trevor picked me up about 11 o'clock, about 9 o'clock at night, and he was going to Rome. We got to Rome, and it was about 1:30, and Rome is built on 7 hills. And he says, I can't deliver this until 5. And it was so eerie, here it is. You know, and he drove me all around, and he talked about all the damn hills, and we drove through all these places, and we drove to the Colosseum, and walked into the Colosseum at 2:30 in the night.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody there.
Wow.
that is an honor.
What?
That's an honor.
Oh, it was fantastic. And, you know, all the churches were unlocked. We walked into St. Paul's Cathedral, and you could go any place you wanted, and nothing was locked. And he'd stop, just walking out around this way and walk around this way. He was from Italy, but he spoke pretty decent English. And we spent 3 hours walking around Rome and looking at the Colosseum and every place else. And finally he said, well, I think they're going to be open, and I got to go deliver this load. And so he dropped me off, and I went and found it. Then you had guest houses, not guest houses, what do they call them?
Hostels?
Youth hostels.
And it was 5:30 before I would have got the one, and you had to be out by 7. And there's no sense paying to get a quarter to get in a guest house. And the guest house was a quarter a night. And I found a bench.
Somebody's paper covered up.
And,
Grandma, did you fly over there? Did you say you
no, I took
You
a boat.
You voted. Yeah, that's the whole story. Okay.
It stopped at Portsmouth in England, and another people, and then its final destination was Lahore, France.
Okay.
And then we took a train into Paris.
Okay.
And when this Italian picked me up, it was about noon. And he picked me up and he said, I got a wonderful place, we're going to have lunch. And he pulled in this little village. next to the seashore. And it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And this guy had just pulled in and he had all his squib, baby squib, squirming around. You know, I was brought up in you cooked everything and you cleaned it out and you'd never think of doing this. And I saw this guy get a whole bunch of those squibs and put them in this squib and dump it in this hot boiling, and his crumbs first in this hot boiling water and serve it on a plate. Oh, these are delicious. You gotta eat these. And I thought, oh my God.
Calamari before it became popular.
There's some sauce with it, but I absolutely delicious. Without a doubt, it was the best calamari I've ever had by far.
Wow.
They were all small and
Oh,
he stopped someplace else just outside the room and we eat again. He stopped all the time and ate with me. And he took me to another place. It was very reasonable. And so
When Grandpa and I went in the 50s and 60s, people still remembered the war, and to be American there at that time was, you know, you were somehow related to G.I. Joe who had liberated those
no,
people.
you were related to God.
You got treated pretty well.
Oh, I mean, you said you were American. They just fell all over themselves doing something for you because the people in France and Paris, you know, you couldn't pay for anything. They just wanted to treat you everything. And oh, you're an American. And they treated you. I was hitchhiking up through Belgium. Not hitchhiking, I was riding a bike. And God, I'll never do that again. I saw this guy who was farming. He had a bunch of dairy cows, and I rode in. And I'd been hurrying for about 3 weeks, and I had a German haircut and a German sport coat on. And
Ernie was the exchange
he was the
student.
exchange student that stayed with us 2 years before,
okay.
about 7 years before. And of course, he thought I was German, and he cussed me. I could understand enough German. I knew he was saying. And it was not nice. He was going to kill me. And I apologized to him in my broken German. And he immediately recognized I was an American, and he did 180 degrees. And just said, oh, I'm very sorry, almost got down to his knees and apologized. And he just bought a surge milking system. It was one that I grew up with. And he was having trouble with it. So I stayed there and I taught him how to use it, how to run it. And I stayed there at night. He wanted me to stay there a couple more nights. I said, no, I don't want to. I laughed, but I mean, he was willing to give me everything.
Where you off?
What?
Your daughter.
Yeah, have my daughter.
That was up in where I went to this village.
In Holland, that was it.
Yeah, that was in Holland, but I went to this village in Germany. It was a village that my dad's parents were born in. And there was still a couple of Oberhausers up there. And I thought, well, I'll just go up and see what it's like. It was so isolated. During the Second World War, they never saw a German or American soldier. And they had a church, and one American plane toward the end of the war had strafed it, and they had some bullet holes in the side of this church. But other than that, and I mean, my God, I expected to go up there and spend an hour, and I spent 5 days there. And this one guy, he was the last Oberhauser. He had a daughter who was about 20 years old. And he wanted me to marry her and maintain the German name, and they were going to do this and they were going to do that. They kept
Booked
talking.
it out of there.
After 5 days.
Do you remember the name of the town?
Neunkirchen. And they kept talking about the new additions to the church. I was so proud of it. I kept looking at that church trying to figure out what the new addition was. And I finally said one of them and says, what year was that church, that new addition put on? 1865. It was over 100 years old, and I thought, okay, you destroy churches when they get to 100 years old. But it's interesting. I slept in a cottage that for 400 years my ancestors, the name Oberhauser comes from over the house. In other words, we were in charge, our family was in charge of making sure that this little castle always had food, the beds were made, and the food was on the table, etc. And that's how the name Oberhauser came about. And they'd done that for 400 years. And I slept in a house that for 400 years my ancestors had constantly slept in. That was the most eerie feeling in my life. I mean, 400 years of continuing occupancy of your predecessor. And it just, you can't imagine.
So we were just caretakers, our ancestry was just.
And that's all we were caretakers.
Wow.
We were caretakers of this little principality, because for a long time, Germany was not a country like we think of now. It was made up of a whole bunch of little principalities. And they would have little armies, and just, like, your elect would have one, every little town in Perry County would have one. And if they went to war, they'd go together. If there was a threat, they'd go together and fight it off. And if they couldn't fight off an enemy, they'd fight among themselves. And you have this little principality, and they showed me where the old market road were to the next village, where they did the trading. And they showed me all through the town and what all went on. And it was like I was in a town 100 years early than what I really was. And I would imagine nobody ever left that town, or if they did, they never came back. What is that song? There's one song that nobody ever leaves this town, ever comes back. There's one popular song.
That's Hotel California.
What? But nobody ever comes back. And I'm sure nobody ever left that town that ever came back. And when they found out I was an Oberhauser, my God, you swear to God, everybody in the town wanted to know about the Oberhausers in America and what they were doing. And what America was like, and this and that, and the thing with it is, I've been around long enough, I could speak enough German that they can understand what I'm saying. I mean, I couldn't speak it well, but I could speak it enough that I could converse. And, but they just, all they want to do is know about America and know what our relatives were doing and about the Oberhausers down in the port, which at that time I still remember most of them. They were, because we'd go down there a couple of times a year and see my cousins down there. What Uncle Henry done, and what all the cousins were doing. And
What do you mean down in the port?
the port city was the closest town that I was growing up at when my dad grew up at, and Uncle Obie grew up. And I never met, to my knowledge, I never met my grandfather. We'd go down there, grandmother was down there, and she was a big old stout gentleman. Hell, that damn woman to have a child without no cows in the afternoon.
Millie? Is that Millie? Are you talking about Millie?
Minnie.
Minnie, yeah.
Yeah, she was only 99 when she died. And I think she probably milked cows that morning. But all they would do is I wanted to know all about the cousins and what they were doing. And,
Were they more closely related to the cousins in LaPorte than to you, or?
Well, Dad and my grandmother migrated here, and so did her husband. Her husband was in the Bismarck Army.
Your Grandpa Oberhauser.
Yeah, and he deserted the Bismarck Army because they put you in the Army, he didn't know when you were going to get out. So he just got up one day and fled to America. And then grandmother came to the war, and Dad and all the brothers were born here in the United States, I think. And they wanted to know all about the Oberhauser clan. But they insisted on showing me all over and staying and fed me, and they would have banquets for me, and God, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but how did you find them? Like when you went to Germany, how did you find them?
Well, I knew that my dad had come from that area, and so I located on the map, and it was way off the road. I mean, it was off the beaten path, really beaten path. so I hitched it about 5 miles off any decently traveled road. And
Is it
I
just dirt
walked up
roads?
there. What?
Is it just dirt roads
It
or?
was a dirt road, yeah. The dirt road, and I walked up
Can you
there.
imagine just going?
Yeah.
And I walked up there because I was young and I was healthy and walking 5 miles wasn't my problem. And I got there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought, well, I'll look around for an hour and I can walk back to the main road and be to the next hostel and before it closes at 9. 5 days later, I was. But that was one of the weirdest experiences I ever had in Europe, is sleeping in a house that for 400 years my ancestors had slept on a continuous basis.
So if one of us wanted to go there and check it out, how would we find it?
It's still on the map.
Go to the nearest pub.
OBERHAUSER, they'll point you in the right direction.
They probably have a-
Nurenkirchen.
Did you feel like that there was a well-respected name in that area?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had agreed to stay there and marry that girl, I would have been mayor of the town. But, I never forget him talking about the new addition to the church. I finally asked him, I said, yeah, what year was that addition? But 1865. Oh, okay.
Super modern.
They took me up there and showed me where the bullet holes were when that plane had strafed the church. And,
You said it was an American plane
yep,
that strafed it?
yep. Yeah.
Nurenkirchen was really close to the East-West Germany line,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, wow.
I
But
think
it
it
was
was
on
in Western Germany, but it was
Yeah.
real close
Yeah.
to the line.
It was close to the line.
In the north near Holland, did you say?
It was north of Bonn, which was the western capital at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hitchhiked into Berlin. It was way deep into East Germany, okay? And at that time, they were trying to maintain a false economy. And you could take a West German mark and get 5, for $1, get 5 of them for $1, okay? And you could go buy a nice dinner for 1 mark and a quarter,
Oh,
which would be about 30 cents. But you could take that West German mark and get 5 East German marks.
right,
So each one of those East German marks was worth about 4 cents.
right.
And you could walk over into East Germany and you could buy a steak dinner for 4 cents. You could buy a beer for 5 cents. I mean, not 5 cents, for less than a penny. And there was about 4 of us Americans, and we would go over there. And it amazed me because they talked freely. And they thought we were so generous because, drinks on us, boys! And between the bunch of us, we might spend 40 cents.
Wow.
You know, when Germany was partitioned, Berlin was the old capital, and it was divided between the Western Allies and the Russians. And so, but when that happened, West Berlin became an island, and so you could only get into it. However you went into Berlin, you had to go out that way. Your visas got stamped, and they wouldn't prohibit you from going in. At one point, they did, but
So you went in there, you went through the border and you went in?
I went through in the 60s, and I was on a train. I had no knowledge of this thing about, so I either had to go back a way I didn't want to go, or I had to fly out, because you couldn't get out of the country except wherever your passport ends.
So it's kind of the height of
See, I went there
height of
about
the
10
Cold
years
War.
earlier, and I could hitchhike in and hitchhike come back.
I think they put up the Berlin Wall right after.
Right after
we were there.
Right now, I want to see it.
They're running our economy, that's...
The Americans just can't go wherever the hell you want
Because
to.
he took off and didn't
If
marry
you
a
ever,
woman.
there was a movie with Tom Hanks that was about the Berlin Wall in getting Gary Powers out of that, wasn't it? It was really neat, and it was just that feeling like, you know,
I mean,
just
we would
suddenly
take
we're
a
surrounded by the immediacy.
We take the U-Bahn behind an elevator railroad. And I remember now, I thought, it's funny, every so often at stations in East Berlin, you'd see the police get on and drag somebody off. Okay? I never realized how much danger I was. I never dreamed that I could very easily be arrested and taken as a spy. And I was lucky I wasn't. And because they were doing that. And but we'd go over there and we would eat and we'd go in these little bars and talk and drink until 3 o'clock in the morning and have breakfast and go back to the youth hostel in West Berlin because we were afraid to stay there all night. And the next day, where we'd go again. And I was in Berlin for about 10 days, 11 days, and before I left. And I think it was less than 30 days and they threw up the wall. They put the wall up. But it always amazed me that you'd stand there in West Berlin, it looked like a modern city. East Berlin was nothing but a wall, war-torn shambles. There was a few stores in the front that had built up, but most of it was, and the bars that we went to were dives in the basement. And these people would freely talk about the Russians and the communists and how bad they were. And it amazed me how they would talk about them. And they'd ask us about America and one thing and another. Of course, at the time, between the 4 or 5 of us that go over all the time, we could converse really well. We could tell them exactly what was going on. And you know, you buy them a couple rounds of drinks, and their mouths really loosen up. But I mean, to give you a perspective, at that time, we could detassel corn and make 95 cents an hour. So, for an hour of wages, we could get the whole damn bar drunk. It was amazing how much they try to maintain that false balance.
Imagine how many lives you changed by giving them the information about what's going on in America. I mean, they without the internet and who cares? Who knows? Like the butterfly effect, you could be responsible for unimaginable things, good things that.
And see, at that time, there was something called Radio Free Europe, and people had these little wireless radios, and they would broadcast out of Berlin and out of other places.
It's hard to go on a radio.
But it was,
You have vacations up here.
yeah.
A long vacation.
But that, when I heard the moon landing in Brazil, it was the voice of America. Was the way I heard it.
Did you believe it?
Nobody there did. I got a movie from USAID to show to people landing on the moon, and I've got to admit, the movie didn't look real either. It was like, oh, okay, I know why they think it's fake. But it wasn't a fuzzy one. They had a clear movie, and I thought, this can't be right.
It's you said that you were lucky not to get arrested as a spy. And
God. You know, I look back on it, and there were students that went in there and never came out.
And especially, you probably attracted a lot of attention with as an American too.
Yeah, and we made no bones about us being Americans because we knew that if we they could identify as Americans, they would treat us special because they loved Americans. They hated the damn East German police and the Russians. And if they knew we were Americans, they'd our boy.
Who did you go with, Grandma?
What?
Who did you go with?
You know, I don't remember the guys' names, but they were, you'd go to those youth hospitals and you'd meet a bunch of guys. And they'd say, what are you going to do today? Well, I'm going to go to East Germany.
But you didn't get on the boat with anybody, you were by yourself.
Yep. I tell you what, I was tired. I had a lot of money from working in Yellowstone that summer, and I got to New York City and I had no passport. I went to the travel agents. I said, I want the first boat out of here. He said, where'd you? I said, I don't give a damn. Where did you go? And he said, well, Monday there's a boat leaves at 1 o'clock for the Harbor Friends. And they said, where's your passport? I said, I don't have one. They told me when the passport office. This was Thursday. He said, well, I'll go get my passport. And my passport wasn't ready till 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Now it takes like 30 days.
Or 90 days. What year was that?
That would have been 1960.
Okay.
So I grabbed my passport and one bag, and here's all these other people, 5 or 6 bags apiece, and I had one bag that I drug on, and because I knew I was going to hitchhike, and by the time I left France, one knapsack is what it was.
There was a book called The Gulag Archipelago that was like demolished communism. Do you know when that was in relation to when you were over there, whether it was afterwards or before? There was a book. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But I just know it was a wonderful time to travel in Europe because both the French and all the Scandinavian countries, the minute they found out you were American, they could not treat you well enough. I mean, I got up to Copenhagen, and I mean, my God, you'd think I was a prince of the country. They hauled me around, they showed me the palace, they wined me, dined me, they took me over to Sweden on the boat. They just absolutely, I mean, you would think that I was a long lost son.
Well,
Cousin, son.
yeah. I wonder if that'd still be the same thing as touristy as Europe is now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But then, because there wasn't any, no matter where you went, there was no gates, there was no mission. I mean, like in Paris or in Rome or in Barcelona, no matter where you went, there was, you could walk any place you wanted, nobody cared. There was no admission, there was no tickets. There was nobody trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
Everything was dirt cheap. I mean, there was people over there that had books, how to live in Europe on $4 a day. And with $4 a day, you could live in a nice hotel, eat nice meals, and enjoy yourself.
Were you out of college when you went?
Yep, it was right after I graduated from college. When I got out of college, I worked out in Yellowstone.
That summer.
And that summer. And when I came home, I had about $3,000 in cash.
So you were dating Mom at the time?
Yep.
You just lit out of there like a...
I wasn't sure whether I wanted to get married. There was a lot of pressure on me to become a priest because I had enough theology and philosophy that in 6 weeks I could have fulfilled all the requirements to become a priest.
Just tell them if I can marry Janie, I'll become priest.
So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do. But I had all this cash, and so I decided, now I'll go to Europe. And the only reason I came home is I made up my mind what I wanted to do. It wasn't because I ran out of money. I mean, with the amount of money I had from working that summer, I
So
could
what did Mom think of you running off like that?
We wrote letters every single day. I never could find the letters after she died. I wished I had them.
And she still had nursing school.
Yeah, she was still at nursing school to finish, and she wasn't going to be done in nursing school until June. And that's one of the reasons I made up my mind I wanted to get married to Janie. And I mean, when I was in Rome, there was a bunch of us ran around together, and one of them was a daughter of Schwabach. He was one of the leading dealers in stock in New York, very, very wealthy. And she was a nice girl, and she wasn't not attractive, but she was kind of plain. And she wanted to go to Venice with me. Because then the damn Italian boys, if you went alone, a girl went alone, it was not wise. They'd pinch you on the butt and everything else. And of course, at the time, I was about 6'1", and not very many people would want to mess with me.
I saw a picture of you when you were younger. I wouldn't want to fuck with you.
And I didn't think, and I just had
That's your son. That's your son.
I agree with this, and that's the right wording.
So we went to Venice and together for about 5 days. And
Baby.
he got through and she said, sharing a bed or something, and I said, no, I wasn't ready. I was not ready to do that. I was in love with another woman. So I took off. I hitchhiked over to, well, I tell you what really made up my mind. I was up in the Alps, hitchhiking, this guy stopped. And over across the valley was this guy with a bunch of sheep. There was a beautiful fall day in early April. Sun was shining, the grass was turning green. And I thought, I bet that guy has the answer to life. So I took 3 hours walking down that hill and walking back. And, you know, I was young. I could walk pretty fast. All he wanted was get off that damn hill. Get rid of them damn sheep.
So you went home and became a sheep farmer.
I never did that. So I walked back up the hill. It's like into Munich. And Munich had the Olympics of that year. And it was early enough there was still snow on the slopes. And there's one, the American Army was there. And they'd get these R&R passes where they could spend 5 days in the mountain. It included everything, including board, wood, pass for skis, slopes, everything. And this guy, how he wanted to go down and go to the OBERHAUSER in Munich. So I gave him $3 for the pass. I spent 5 days damn near trying to kill myself. My God, I could ski, I had lessons, and I said, oh, I can do that. I got a medium slope, and man, I'm so damn lucky to be here. I damn near killed myself. But they had a guest house in Munich, and they were served beer all the time. I thought, they have to close sometime. I stayed there one night until midnight. I got tired, went back to the guest house. So the next night, I kind of rested. Hell, they were still going at 5 o'clock in the morning. They never stopped. They drank all night long. And these women would come with, hell, they'd hold on to 5 or 6 pints of beer at a time, both hands. And man, I would not want to get in a fight with any of them.
Did you get drunk in Germany?
No.
No?
You know, I was smart enough. I never hardly ever drank. I thought, I'm in a foreign country, I'm by myself, I have to take care of myself. Nobody else is going to do it. You know, if I screw up, I really have screwed up. I mean, there's only been 2 times in my life I really got drunk that I don't remember what I was doing. And one time I was a freshman in college, but I drank very, very little. I'll bet all the time I was in Europe, I never consumed more than a jug of wine and a few beers. Even when we'd go over to Germany, I would buy 1 beer. I don't care how many they bought, because they got drunk fine, they'd stay home.
That's why you're such a good poker player.
But I'd buy 1 beer and maybe drink half of it, at the most. At the very most, because I knew nobody else was going to take care of me. I mean, the only time I really got drunk was my freshman year. I got my grades in mid-semester. I was flunking everything I was taking. The highest grade I had was a 50. And you had to have a 70 to pass. So I went down to the local bar, and I don't remember much after that. And the guy who lived across the hall, his dad ran a bar in Chicago. And he played guard in a football team. He was a hell of an athlete. And he got me back to the hall, stuck me in the back room, because if they caught me I would have been kicked out.
Really?
Oh, yeah. One time you get caught with alcohol and everything, you were done. That was it. There was no second chance. But he stuck me back in and tucked me in bed. And I don't remember anything about it until about 11 o'clock the next morning. My head ached an awful lot. And it ached so much. And my roommates told me who brought me in, got me past the guards and everything else. He was about 185 pounds and a terrific gymnastic. He was also the guard in Chicago, so you know what kind of athlete he was. And he never drank hardly at all. He'd drink once in a while. I've never been pretty never, but I would have drowned. I was down by the St. Charles River, drunk out of my mind, staggering. He saw me. He recognized me. And he was nice enough to get me back to the hall and sneak me in. I could never have repaid him. But I was, and then I called Mom and Dad. I wasn't smart enough. Dad said, well, you've been there, it's all paid for, you might as well stay and see what you can learn about it. So I went to every one of my professors, and I said, you know, I'd like to stay in Notre Dame. What can I do to pass? For the first time in my life, I studied. The very first time in my life, I studied. And I passed every damn subject and was not on probation. But they gave, a lot of them gave me a break. A couple of them said, you know, we'll start over again where you're at right now. We're not going to count that 30 and 40. We'll start over where you're at now. And they worked with me, and I quit screwing around, I quit goofing off, and I studied, and I applied myself. And I ended up passing every single course I was taking. And you could never have done that at state school. But most of my classes were 18 to 20 people, and most of the professors knew everybody in the class. And when I finished my sophomore year and knew I wasn't coming back, I was on the edge of being in algebra because I never studied my sophomore year. And the class I liked the best was history. And I walked into the history class and my average was an 87, I think. And I walked into the history class. But the type of history was a universal course. In other words, there was about 7 or 8 different professors who taught it. But the test was made up by a bunch of teachers. And so even our own teacher did not know what the question was. And I took that test and I know I flunked it. I know I flunked it so bad it wasn't even funny. But I worked hard during the year. And so I thought, well, I've done that. I'm out. And about the 1st of September, I got a letter from the professor. And he said, you know, I know you were there. I've never seen you. But he said, I've lost your blue book. In college, you get a blue book that you still do. You still do? And he says, but I can't find it. You have a choice. He says, you can either come back here and I'll administer the test, or I can send the test to your high school superintendent and he can administer, or you can take the grade you had going into the test. That was one of the easiest decisions. And when I came back my junior year and decided I really wanted to go to college, I saw him and I said, you didn't really lose that test, did you? He kind of smiled with that. Didn't say anything. But I know he did. I know he realized that if he had turned my grade in, and because that test accounted for 60% of our grade. I mean, it amounted to a lot.
It's great that you had professors that really cared.
Yeah. And I talked to him quite a few times in junior year, and he would never admit it. But when I asked him about it, he just smiled. And he said, I understand you're doing well now. And I said, yes. But he would never admit that he lost the test on purpose, which he did. I have no doubt about it. Because no matter how hard it was, the highest grade on the test was an 87. Because I did ask him, what was the highest grade of any guy? He said 87. So,
That's compassion.
but that was one of the things I did like about Notre Dame. All the classes were small. I don't think I was in a class of over 23 kids.
Wow.
And so the professor knew who you were. And, Hesburgh turned Notre Dame into a top-notch academic school. And when he came in 1954, he told Frank Leahy, that's the guy who was the epitome of coaching. He'd won 2 national champions. He said, you're going to turn your athletes into students, or I'm going to flunk them out. And I was in one of the last jock classes. The last jock. It was a speech class. How I got into it, I have no idea to this day. When they asked me what I wanted to take, I said, I didn't know, and they said, well, we'll fill out your application. And I was the only one in there that was on a football scholarship. I mean, if you showed up for class, you got an A. No question about it. And one of the first things we had to do is, he gave us an assignment of how you did something without 88s. And these other guys were how you shove a basketball, how you swing a bat, how you throw a pitch, baseball or basketball or football. And I thought, hell, I wasn't an athlete. I didn't know anything about that. So I showed him how to milk a cow.
I love this story.
I had him have the, I thought, I grew up in a community where everybody lived in a farm and everybody milked cows. And they always been critical of my speech. I said, the first thing you do is you sit down and you put your hand in their leg and you run your hand down their leg. And they started laughing. And I said, you grab one front and the other front. And they laughed more. They were all these damn football players. They were all from the city. They got so damn, and they couldn't go away. They were all laughing. And I was embarrassed to hell. And I finished the speech.
Keep finishing the speech.
Even the professor was laughing. He was sitting there. Virtually, he was sitting in his chair just after he was knocking his fanny off. And because he gave me an A for the damn thing, and I got an A in the class. But, here I am, 5'2", 120 pounds, no athletic ability. I was in the Boondocks, and these guys were all city slickers, all football players. And from there on, it seemed, hey, Oberhauser, come on down and eat, have lunch with us. Well, do this with us. And, I was kind of the mascot.
Come on, you're 5'2".
That's really short.
It's like the size of Alicia.
Actually, she's 5'3". I really don't believe that you're 5'2". I don't believe it.
Not even when you were born.
I boxed at 120 pounds.
Okay, I believe that, but I do not believe that you're 5'2".
I went out for track in high school and they had some stakes to make sure I moved. It was incredible. I had no athletic ability at all. And the only reason I went out for football because Dad liked football and I hated football. I got beat up all the time. And everybody said, why can't you be like your brother Sherman? When Sherman graduated, he was 6'2" and on 210 pounds. He got a full scholarship to Iowa State. And I was nothing but the damn punching bag. It hurt every time they blocked me. Every time they tackled me. If it hadn't been for Dad loving football, I never would have gone out for football. But he loved football. He got into the country club and the gridiron and supported the football team. And I knew I didn't want to disappoint him. And so I went out for football. And I was terrible at football. I was horrible at football.
I have a question for all the men in here, the Oberhauser men. Did you grow at all between the ages of 18 and 22?
Yeah.
Which way?
You did. I have a hard time believing
When
that.
Roger was a freshman, he wouldn't let him in the basketball team because he's too damn short.
A college?
No,
In high school. They wouldn't let him, yes sir. The coach said to me, you want to be telling him to play basketball?
I never wanted to play basketball.
Maybe he just said that he
No,
tried out.
I wanted to be a wrestler like Pete.
Aww.
Pete, how big were you at freshman?
115 pounds.
My goodness.
How big were you, Roger, when you were a freshman? You weren't much
Probably
bigger than that.
probably not that. I mean,
And you were 5'4".
I don't remember.
How tall was Sarah when she was a freshman?
She was probably 5'6".
5'2".
Was she?
5 foot.
Yeah.
How tall were you when you were a freshman in high school?
Oh, I was taller than everybody.
Were you?
I still grew. I grew from there. I was always tall.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I was taller than my
First
my
grade.
first grade teacher.
I was taller than everybody else, but I wasn't taller than my first grade teacher.
You must have had a really tiny first grade teacher.
Well, she was little.
But you see,
Yeah.
Gene and Lou both, Gene and Sherman both grew in high school. They reached their full maturity. But Lou was small and I was small.
Mm-hmm.
We were both runts.
John was full size.
And John was
Just
full
one was a
size.
regular size person.
He was 180 pounds when he was a senior. But I was an absolute runt all the way through. And you know, it was between the end of my sophomore year, I was 120 pounds, and when I came back 18 months later, I was 200 pounds hard as a rock and a little over 6 foot tall. And nobody knew who the hell I was. They said, what happened to you? What the hell did you eat? But it was, and for the first time in my life, I had the psychology of being small. And we had this inter-hall football, and they all tried to talk me into coming out for inter-hall football. I said, I'm too small. I'm not big enough to play that. They said, hell, you'd be one of the biggest guys in the team at 210 pounds. But I had this psychological attitude that I was small, that I was little. And I couldn't get over the fact that, and I remember putting on a football team for the first time in my life, I hit somebody and I felt good. It did not hurt. It felt great. And our inter-hall football teams were good. Really good. I beat out a kid that was all city in Chicago at linebacker. And, but I had worked construction, I had worked all kinds of jobs all of a sudden, and I was in top-notch shape. I had 210 pounds of muscle, and I was physically top of the game. And of course, most of these guys had soft jobs, and they were not in good shape.
Thanks, Uncle.
And
That's a good uncle.
I was without a doubt
You got a bed for
one of the best players of the team because I was strong and I was physical. But when I came back and they looked at me at 210 pounds, they all said, who the hell are you? How the hell did you get that big? They knew me as a 5'5", 125 pound sophomore. And, to come back at that size and at that strength, it was a real shock to me.
Were you like in your senior class in high school? Were you the same age as everybody else?
Yeah, no, I was one of the youngest kids in the class. I was the same age as Dick Dickinson, and that's why we were good friends. We were the two youngest kids in the class. We were both turned 17 the freshman year in college, and we were both 16 when we graduated.
What? You were 16. You were 17 when you graduated. Yeah,
You turned 18 after you went to college.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because that's what I was.
Okay. It's a little bit more believable.
Yeah.
17. Yeah.
Super advanced first age.
Yeah.
Mom, what year did you graduate?
Obviously.
64. Years after.
Oh, I still consider myself small, but I'm the same.
Our guys, we never heard it on TV that no college had a weightlifting program. None of them even considered it. Nebraska was the first one that had a weightlifting program. And Oklahoma was the next one that considered not only weightlifting, but diets. And they consider having a diet along with the weightlifting program. And as a result, and because, when I was a senior in high school, Larry James, the biggest guy in the team, with Frank Baracchione. I never forget that. He weighed 264 pounds. I used to wrestle. I was stronger than him in the arms and the shoulders. I could pin that guy, but he had him in legs. I didn't have any legs to speak of. His strength was in his legs, but as far as arms and shoulders, I was stronger than he was. But nobody, we never had any kind of weightlifting. I mean, everybody showed up a week before the first game, and they practiced for a week, and they played. And they played 8 games, and that was it. They didn't go to bowl games in. It was over with.
I want to move ahead. I want to know the first time that you laid eyes on Mom. And I want to know what Mom thought of you.
Mom thought I was a cocky, nerd and
No, this one.
Jane, you mean?
Yeah.
Or you mean
No, Sue. Mom.
Sue? Mom and Dad had come to Peace Corps, and we were living out in Gaithersburg. And she said, "Well, you gotta meet this girl in Columbus." So I was on the way to a horse show over by Dayton, and I went to hell I'll stop and see her. And
Where were us kids?
you were at home.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Beth was in charge.
Okay.
And sure enough, we hit it off from day one. And it was just really like we were meant for one.
And I'm waiting for this guy to come, and I loved your grandparents, your grandparents.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yeah, middle-aged man with 6 kids. I'm really excited about this.
That would have to be a pretty convincing argument.
Yeah, he showed up at the door. He had on a turtleneck.
He was 32, wasn't he?
He was 36, and I was 26. Yeah.
36 is not middle. Well, maybe back then
To
it
a
was.
26-year-old.
To a 26-year-old,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That was the last time Sue got drunk too.
Or the first.
What the hell am I doing? There's that app that says cancel.
So we hit it off, and we went to the horse show the next day together, and it was instant.
I always wondered, what the hell was Mom thinking?
I wonder about that too.
Especially after she came the first time, Roger. It's like, oh my God, there are 6 of them.
She's a smart lady.
Well, according
Now I was like 36, I had 7 kids to take care of.
You guys don't remember this, but the first time that I came out and stayed at the farm, we got in late, and I think you guys were all in bed already, and there was a commotion in the kitchen the next morning, and I go downstairs, and there is a nice-sized calf in the kitchen. Horace, remember Horace, the calf that you guys had bottled?
Seems like they brought the fatted calf.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell's this?
Well, according to Lou Oberhauser, his explanation for it is Peace Corps mentality.
You were broke in. That piece were broke you in.
I definitely only accepted the date because 2 of my favorite people in the whole world were your grandparents. And yeah.
I wish I would have known grandfather better.
I wish
Yeah, he was really I mean, I guess I was 36, but I could have passed for 26, couldn't I?
Sure, dear. Yes, dear.
It was the mustache.
Yeah, you know that you guys remember that when you moved out to Jamesburg, they ran the newspaper story about the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was good looking. And certainly not what I imagined as a middle-aged.
No, he was only 5'2".
It's still growing.
So let's try.
So which horse did you have at the time?
No,
it's Effie. Yeah.
Effie, we were there cutting.
Yeah.
Did you win it?
No, it was all docked up. I mean, it was terrible. The guy who won the national championship was there. And he won it hands down, but got fourth. I mean, the judging was all homered. I mean, he hired local judges, and he was by far the greatest cutting horse I ever saw around.
Really?
And you got fourth place, the show at Dayton.
He should have got first hand down. I mean, it was just, it was so staged, it wasn't even funny. And I won my class actually, but I got fifth too, and it was strictly a deal of they knew who was going to win from the word go. And it was a bunch of clubs that put on this horse show. It was really to give the local club members trophies and stuff like that. And so they won all the trophies. But when I saw the horse that won the national championship and was the best cutting horse I ever saw, and he went out there and cut, and God, he was good. I thought, wow. That was a junior cutter. And I thought, I don't want to show against him. And when he got fourth place, I thought, wait a second, this is a joke. And I went out and I showed well, but I got fourth too. And they only gave 3 places. And but it was the quickest damn horse show I ever went to.
Grandpa Jesus hasn't heard the speech in college that you gave to the athletes on how to milk a cow. Can you say that? Can you repeat that? Oh, he did the leg.
Yeah.
He didn't do the whole speech.
Oh.
The whole speech was funny.
Yeah, the whole speech was funny.
He didn't stop at grabbing the leg.
No, he didn't. On the leg. Because he had to describe. Was it a couple of...
I haven't either.
Keep going. All right.
You slipped your hand down the leg and then you grabbed. You had to demonstrate how to milk a cow. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what we all remember.
All you're doing is milking a cow.
I sat down and I slipped my hand down his leg. I said, wait, you sit down, you slide your hand down his leg, and you grab one front tit, and then you grab the other. And then I said, you squeeze again. And I said, you take your thumb and your forefinger and clamp them first, then you squeeze. And it squirts, and then I do the same thing back and grab and squeeze. And then I rip it out. I said, I'm laughing their butts out. They couldn't. I said, because if you don't do it thoroughly, you're going to end up with mastitis, which is a bacterial disease.
I don't know why that's funny.
Did you like that, Jenny?
Oh, it's fantastic. Especially the ending.
It had to be 3 minutes in graphic detail describing how you did it from the time you got the cow in the stanchion to the way you brushed her down a little bit. They would slide your hand down the leg, and you sat down in the pail, and you started milking the cow, and you grab one front tit and the other front tit, and those guys absolutely ruined it. They just done it. And I was embarrassed because I thought, they laughed.
But they were laughing at you.
They laughed at me because I grew up in a community, it was a farming community, and everybody lived in a dairy. Everybody milked cows. And most of them would have said, well, they wouldn't have been critical. They would have said, nah, you gotta do this first and this first. You forgot about disinfecting the tits. and where I got to this totally different group, had no idea what I was doing. And I graphically told them exactly what we did, and they just sat there and laughed. I bet it was 10 minutes before they quit laughing. And the teacher got the court back,
Pretty dry.
class back, and they...
Rosé, maybe?
I can rosé. Sure.
But I had no idea.
Rosé.
I thought that last. So I thought, I'm not doing that bad, am I?
Aww.
I could never think of
And we
anything.
felt bad for you, but I also laughed because it would have been hilarious.
They thought it was hilarious.
You were total truth.
And I just, If I'd known what I was doing, it wouldn't have been as funny. But I'm this innocent, dumb old farm boy that at 110 pounds, 105 pounds.